Okay, hi everybody. So I'm here and I'm in my 2009 Volkswagen Jetta TDI, and I put a new radio in, and the radio, for all intents and purposes, it works pretty good. I really like the radio. It's got some cool stuff. It's got Bluetooth, and I got to figure out how to turn my flash off here. The flash is kind of getting in the way of things. Anyway, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about, because what I'm going to do is take my radio out. And I'm going to put in a new dash mounting kit and rewire the harness, because two things. One, the radio doesn't shut off when the ignition, the key is turned off or removed. It just stays on, so I have to manually turn it off. Not really a big deal, but I kind of want that extra perk. So I found the correct wiring harness, and I'll go through that whole deal when I show you the wiring harnesses and everything. But I found the correct wiring harness to get it to shut off while when the key is removed. The other thing I wanted to talk about was my dash mounting kit. This dash mounting kit, for all intents and purposes, it's pretty good. It looks good-ish. Things I'm not happy about with it. The gap up here. There's a pretty good sized gap. The double bezel, I don't like this. It's also pretty weak and flimsy. We could be nitpicking here, but I mean, for my car and my radio and everything, I don't want it to look cheap, and that's the way this looks. If this were a $100 radio in a $2,000 car, I might not mind it, but my car is worth a little more than that, and the radio is too. So, not to be a stuck-up snob or anything, and I know that sounds kind of cocky, but I do want it to look good. And the other feature of my other dash mounting kit is that it is got removable. You can remove the radio without taking apart the whole dash, so that's nice, because I plan on doing a Bluetooth microphone and running some USB cables and maybe even some video outs at some point. So this will be easy to take in and out. I'm going to kind of skip the removal. There are plenty of radio Volkswagen removals, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a rundown. And I'm going to show you the parts that I used. So if you're trying to do a 2009 or even a couple of the other comparable years Jettas, you'll have a little bit better of an idea than me, who went and did some trial and error. I'm a big nerd, so I like to do all this stuff myself, especially the wiring and everything. And I'll show you my wiring harness now, the one I got, and we might even do some crimping on the video. But yeah, so the reason I had to get a new harness too, by the way, is because Volkswagen, the radios are constant on. So they normally, or in older cars or some other models, you have a power wire that runs to your accessory, and that accessory wire turns on and off with the key. In this particular model, year, make, and model of Volkswagen, the accessory wire is controlled by the car's computer, and it doesn't recognize off. I shouldn't say the car's computer. The radio is controlled by the car's computer. So it doesn't necessarily recognize off when you turn the key off, because it's a different computer controlling the receiver, the head. So basically you have to get a very specially made harness, and I'll show you guys. I'll give you the rundown, and that way you guys can skip the headache of buying 3 or 4 different harnesses like I did. Anyway, that's the original, like I said, dash mounting kit, or that I bought, and we'll go over what brand this was. This is a Metra dash kit for a 2009 plus Jetta, GTI, and a few other models. I think Passat's in there, and whatever. It's this sort of trapezoid shape, but it might work for other cars. It might work better for a single din with the tray underneath, but for this particular application, I do not like it. I am not super thrilled with it. It looks okay, but not great, and I'd rather have it look great. So we're gonna get everything out of here, and then we're gonna go inside because it's raining and it's night and it's hard to see and talk and etc. etc. So we're gonna get all that done, and then we're gonna go inside and we're gonna take a look at some of the stuff, and we're gonna go ahead and start assembling this stuff so we can come back out here and just throw it in. Alrighty, thanks. Hey. Hello everyone, back inside, and right now on my table I have an assortment of things and parts and stuff. I'm going to kind of go over them side by side, and I'm going to go one at a time so you can see what's going on. So right here, and I'm going to start this out just by saying, guys, you get what you pay for. You're going to be able to see side by side what the difference is. So, I'm hoping my phone doesn't die. I'm doing this on my phone. So we see the kind of two kits right here. These are the dash kits. This is the first thing I'm going to look at. So the dash kit over here we have is the Metra one. It's just a bunch of plastic pieces. These pieces just snap in, and once you screw your radio in, they kind of just stay there. The double bezel, it's just pretty flimsy. I mean, look at, I'm bending it. All in all, it looks okay when you get it in the car, but that's really it. It's just a piece of plastic. These screws may or may not have come with it. You see, may or may not have come with it. I think they came with my radio, actually. So, I mean, you might even be out of luck on the screws. So that is not going to go back in the car. I have opted instead to spend a little bit more, probably about twice as much, and I get this. And I got this from, I believe it's Enfig is the name of the company. I could have that wrong. I will, in the links in description, post the parts that I've gotten and where you can get them. I know that this kit right here, I couldn't find this anywhere but the company I just mentioned, and I apologize to them if I am butchering the name, but I do believe it's Enfig. They're pretty well known. Some of the other stuff I got from Crutchfield, and then some other stuff I kind of just got from eBay, so we'll go over that anyway. But anyway, this kit, so we have this really nice front bezel, that snaps on after you put the radio in, unlike the double bezel on the Metra, which is kind of meh. And then it has a more traditional radio housing that you might be more used to seeing is the metal casing, and then it has, you know, the proper screw mounts for the Jetta GTI, Golf, Rabbits, all that stuff. It also has the plates for quick removing the radio. Came with its screws and keys to remove the radio, because if you've never done it, you need a key to push this little tab in right here when the radio's in, and it slides out. So, like I said, you get what you pay for. I will show you the finished product. I have taken a picture. I'm going to do a side-by-side once the radio is in here. I'm going to do a little side-by-side so you can see how much cleaner this looks when all is said and done. So I'm going to clean this stuff up. I'm actually going to put the radio together, and then we're going to talk about harnesses. And when I say put it together, I just mean put the plates on and get this all together so we can just kind of take a picture of it side by side. Or, you know, so we can compare the pictures side by side. Anyway, I'm going to put that stuff together. I'll be right back with talk about the harnesses. Okay, so now here we are. I got the radio all put together. It looks great. It took me a little while to mess around with the tabs for, you know, how far I wanted to get it in. But basically, I just wanted to show you guys the differences between these three harnesses. And again, just going to reiterate, you get what you pay for. So this one is the one that I used in my ended up using, which I had to replace because the power stayed on my radio. There's a lot of, I could put a lot of work into that. I'd get closer and show you, but it's kind of poo-poo. I'm going to go through the harness anyway in a minute. But first off, I'm going to show you there's 3 harnesses I got. They all look, or the connectors all look the same pretty much, aside from the pins. Now down in there, you see this one? This was the standard Metra. I think it was $5 or $6 on Amazon, whatever it was. This one does not have all the pins. This one only has pins for speakers on the right-hand side. And on the left, it has the power and ground wires. It does not have the correct wire for the CAN bus, the steering wheel controls, and all that stuff. So, I mean, you could use this if you have a pretty standard car without steering wheel controls, with a single DIN radio. This would be okay for you. But for my application, this wasn't enough. So I went and to find another harness. And this is another one that cost me $5. Now, for all intents and purposes, let's just forget about all this other stuff on here, because I'm going to go over that after. Now, this one has all the pins you could ever want. Little troubling, though, because all the additional pins are all the same color, which kind of screwed me up. They're all brown, and it did screw me up at one point. I had to resplice these 2 wires here because I had switched them for these 2 here, which I have all handy dandily shrink wrapped up. Anyway, so this was a good harness, but the problem was, and if you don't mind, you don't. Ooh, I forgot to turn off my mute my TV. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm just watching the evening news. This one, if you don't mind having to turn your radio off every time you get out of the car, or you like having it on all night, draining your battery, this could be a good harness for you. This one I was able to accept the steering wheel controls. This is a Metra Axis, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's even Metra, but it's an Axis ASCW1, I think. It's a universal steering wheel control, and after I finally got the wires hooked up, it worked great. It works great on my car. The volume up, down, mute. I can program the Bluetooth once I get that hooked up. Fairly easy to wire in. There's good instructions out there. So anyway, that's this one. This was only $5 or $6 too, but I had to spend a few dollars on this. I think this was $30 or $40. And then over on the radio side, don't tell anyone, but I ended up wiring in a there it is, a parking brake bypass, so that I can have DVD in motion. Not that I'm going to be watching DVDs, but I like the option available for if I have passengers and we go on a long ride somewhere. But this all worked great. It worked in my car, and it was good. It's a bit of a spaghetti mess, but aside from the power not shutting off, it worked great. So we're going to move on to the one I just got. And now it's a new spaghetti mess. This is crazy. This thing is absolutely insane. I am going to be tying zip ties and doing stuff. This thing is an absolute spaghetti monster. This one has only the pins I'm going to need. It doesn't have any extras, which is nice. All right, so if you have a Jetta, this one's good. And a few other cars, I don't. Okay. So back to part 2 of the wiring harnesses. This one is good for a Jetta, and comes with this, which is basically and that's the model from Access of what this harness is. So if you need it, I'll post it in the links. But okay, so I just wanted to show you guys the fully wired spaghetti-ness. There's a couple wires I didn't use. I didn't use the remote wire. I don't know if this is actually applicable because my car does not have amps or anything like that. So I don't think it is. So it's just shrink wrapped off. I still have this one open. This is the other remote wire. And the mute wire, which was used on my previous harness, is not now. And this is the vehicle speed sensor wire, which I bet I could wire to it if I had either a better radio or something. But it's not used on this radio. So there we have it. That's the spaghetti. We have the two CAN controllers and the bypass and this, and it's a big mess. I'm going to zip tie it. You'll see it again when I go to install it. Okay. So here is the finished wire harness. I'll show you again. All tied up and nice. There's got the ends here that go to the radio, the two control boxes, and then the vehicle harness part. Okay, so here we are, finished product. I got the new bezel in. There's still a little bit of a gap, but it's much less noticeable. And it doesn't have that double bezel, so that's nice. It's nice bevel down there. Everything's working correctly on it. It's nice and just about perfectly flush. But the best part is this. And it shuts off when I take the key out. So I'm really happy about that. It looks good. It looks clean. It looks almost factory. So it's like I said, I'm happy with the way this turned out. That's my Nexus that I'm filming on. I installed the app radio, so now everything's working correctly the way it should be. There we go. And yeah, so that's it. That's how good it came out. Hope this video was informative and you guys liked it. And subscribe. Bye.